Katy is on the line in Devon in England about the situation in the UK. Katy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, George, for having me on the show.
You're welcome. Go ahead.
I just want to say that what's happening in the UK to the most vulnerable, poor and disabled people is just evil. I help out at a food bank, and some of the stories that are coming in are just so shocking and so needless. For instance, there was a 48-year-old man. He's worked all his life, but he was made unemployed because the local business went out. And he's been unemployed for a year, and I live in a rural area. And he had to get the bus for his interview to the job centre, and the bus was 10 minutes late. And this is a rural area. And they just cut his benefits off. And it wasn't just him they're punishing, it's his 3 children as well. This is a grown man, a father, coming in embarrassed because his job centre cut off his money and made his children hungry. And I've also got a friend who was declared fit for work by ATOS, and he'd been looking after his sister and his wife for 5 years. Both of them died of breast cancer, and he was very depressed and everything after dealing with that, and ATOS declared him fit for work, so he went home and he tried to kill himself. And I also have another friend, a young, lovely, beautiful young man in his early 20s. He was born with a very serious heart defect, and he had open heart surgery twice, and he went to an ATOS medical, and he was declared fit for work, and he died of a massive cardiac arrest weeks after, leaving behind a widow and an 18-month-old child. And the worst thing is the government and its henchmen in the media, they've convinced even reasonable people that the poor are to blame for the so-called crisis. And it isn't the poor who need punishing, it's the criminal wealthy elite. Unemployment is created on purpose to drive wages down, and homelessness is created on purpose to drive house prices up, so that everybody becomes a slave to the banks and big mortgages. This is disaster capitalism in action. They create disasters and then they line their pockets. And what really upsets me is that most individual ministers and coalition members must be aware of this, meaning that they are knowingly attacking and castigating the homeless and unemployed whilst deliberately creating the crisis to suit their own neoliberal agenda. It's cruel and callous, and it's causing real human suffering and tragedy. It is a government for the rich, by the rich, and it's both evil and divisive. And that's what I wanted to say.
Well, that's not just the best call of tonight, Katy, but the best call for a very long time. A young woman called Katy in Devon, a very beautiful rural part of the United Kingdom, painting a picture of life in David Cameron's Britain that Charles Dickens could have written more than 100 years ago, when the gap between rich and poor in Britain is wider than it was when Dickens wrote Oliver Twist, the classic tale of squalor amidst plenty. Katy has brought us back down to earth here in David Cameron's Britain. Cruel and callous is the name of the United Kingdom today.